upon a time we were dreaming. Now we're on the come up, steady scheming. We ain't got a lot, but you know we believe in what we feel in our hearts as we reach for the ceiling. They all just frowned and shook their heads. I nodded with a smile and took their bets. Came out on top and they all on the losing end. Nothing turned out how they thought it really should have been. And I ought to thank them for real. Gave me the fire, they turned me to steel. If love is war, life is a battlefield. Headed for the sky, wonder how that'll feel. Ready to be living it, making dividends. Winning is a goal and I know that I'm getting it. My rise to the top is getting imminent. Waiting on the challengers, go ahead and send them in.
This song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this.
I can see the sun's rays and they're parting the clouds. My path is so clear and I'm walking it now. I think all the haters are starting to doubt. Why they hated in the first place, it's hard to figure out where all of that came from. It's a shame, son, could've come along, but you're digging your grave. Someday we can set aside our differences, and you can chill in my villa, sipping on expensiveness, slagging with the bitterness. Relax, the battle is over, let me bury the axe. Set down your blades, dull your tongues. We out of the ring, so off with the gloves, and let's shake hands like men do. I don't need to rub it in, what I've been through. It's clear I'm the winner, but you can win too. If you let go of the hate, it's so simple.
This song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. This song's for this song's for this song's for This song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this.
Once upon a time we were dreaming. Now we're on the come up, steady scheming. We ain't got a lot, but you know we believe in what we feel in our hearts as we reach for the ceiling. They all just frowned and shook their heads. I nodded with a smile and took their bets. Came out on top and they all on the losing end. Nothing turned out how they thought it really should have been. And I ought to thank them for real. Gave me the fire, they turned me to steel. If love is war, life is a battlefield. Headed for the sky, wonder how that'll feel. Ready to be living it, making dividends. Winning is a goal and I know that I'm getting it. My rise to the top is getting imminent. Waiting on the challengers, go ahead and send them in.
This song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never calling quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this.
I can see the sun's rays and they're parting the clouds. My path is so clear and I'm walking it now. I think all the haters are starting to doubt. Why they hated in the first place, it's hard to figure out where all of that came from. It's a shame, son, could've come along, but you're digging your grave. Someday we can set aside our differences, and you can chill in my villa, sipping on expensiveness, slagging with the bitterness. Relax, the battle is over, let me bury the axe. Set down your blades, dull your tongues. We out of the ring, so off with the gloves, and let's shake hands like men do. I don't need so simple.
This song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never call it quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never call it quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. This song's for this song's for this song's for this song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never call it quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never call it quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this.
Once upon a time we were dreaming, now we're on the come up, steady scheming. We ain't got a lot, but you know we believe in what we feel in our hearts as we reach for the ceiling. They all just frowned and shook their heads. I nodded with a smile and took their bets. Came out on top and they all on the losing end. Nothing turned out how they thought it really should have been. And I ought to thank them for real. Gave me the fire, they turned me to steel. If love is war, life is a battlefield. Headed for the sky, wonder how that'll feel. Ready to be living it, making dividends. Winning is a goal and I know that I'm getting it. My ride to the top is getting imminent. Waiting on the challengers, go ahead and send them in.
This song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in when life gets tough. This song's for the soldiers, never call it quits. Live for the challenge, they can never get enough of this. Song's for the winners, never giving up, never giving in.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bear. Sorry we're late, but
We are just a few minutes.
just a few minutes. Better than what we thought it was going to be.
Yes. You were a little worried when you were headed out. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be back tonight, or
Well,
do
you
I
know,
jump in
when
the ditch?
when hit a ditch. For those that don't know, where we're filming from is at -3 degrees Fahrenheit. Plus wind chill makes it -30.
Yes, it is very cold. If you'll notice, I have my little candle on my desk. So if
Yeah.
you see me doing this, it's because my hands are a little chilly.
Yeah.
Because welcome to West Virginia. We did not build houses in West Virginia for -30.
And even though our house is supremely built comparatively to many out there,
Oh, yeah.
when I say supremely built, the sheeting on the side of my house is 2 inches thick. Then we
Yes.
have another layer of shingles. Then we have insulator board. Then we have vinyl siding. So I've got like 6 inches.
Of like, yeah, it makes the house look huge.
Yeah, it makes the
Like
house
we've
look
lost
huge.
extra square feet.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no.
yeah. So it makes the house look huge. It does make the house very warm in the winter.
Usually.
But not at this temperature. At this
Yes.
temperature, we've hit 61 degrees in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very good because we've gone to 54 before in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with what was the gas furnace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is older and will be replaced at some point, but
Yes, with propane. But
Yes.
our little propane heat for those following the Keep the Aeson Warm journey is kicking it. It's doing very well.
It is.
Yeah.
Like this is way better than does anyone remember the blizzard of 93?
Yes, I remember the blizzard of 93.
Okay, see not the house in Princeton, but the one I actually grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
My bedroom was upstairs, and it was basically an uninsulated attic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like roof, void, and then plaster.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember waking up at one point and being able to see my breath in that room.
Uh-huh.
And that was when I was like, okay, I'm going down to the downstairs. Yep, nope, I'm done. I'm sleeping on the couch. Screw this. I'm cold.
Yeah.
So,
see, that was the Blue Diamond year. I've never seen snow so blue. It just looked like a bed of blue diamonds. We went out walking in it. We went hiking in it. It was gorgeous, but it still was not this cold. I told Joe something. I said it's too cold to snow tonight, and he's like, "What do you mean? It's too cold to snow tonight?"
I'm like, tell them that in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shannon's like, all the snow. We dug snow tunnels and made igloos with my grandpa. Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, the lowest temperature was -12 and that was March 13th of 93.
Yeah.
Called the storm of the century. I beg to differ. I remember the storm of 87. That was the storm of the century.
It was a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is the last time. Like, this is cold.
Yeah.
But
so,
we're doing well. We're doing well. We have not maxed out our heat sources yet.
No.
Which is actually the delay to our show.
Yeah.
Before I would let him turn it up, I was like, so what we got in the next propane bottle?
Uh-huh.
He's like, what do you mean? He said, like, we'll be good for like 24 hours if we cut it up. And I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. See, because my first thought is it's going to be like 4 o'clock in the morning and that tank's going to run out. And it's one thing to be like, oh, I got to go out there and I got to relocate that tank and hook up the new one. Oh, God, this is cold. It's a whole other to be like, I have to go find somewhere to buy a tank.
Yeah.
Like, that's worlds apart. I'm like, Let's see if you can safely get out, get the new tank, and then we can bump that up.
Yeah, we can bump it to a medium. Of course, I only want to do that until we get to about 65 in the house. Okay, I want to kind of share something that I've discovered today. Well, yesterday and today.
Oh.
For those that heaters really ain't kicking it.
Yeah.
Make storm beans or Boston beans or put a stew in the oven at 250 to 300 degrees. It takes like 8 to 12 hours. That will supplement your heat very nicely. Like, it's kept the kitchen very warm.
Yes. It is keeping the kitchen very, very warm.
So,
oh no, Shannon's like, and we lived in a holler, so the snow lasted 2 weeks longer than everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I lived in the middle of like Princeton.
Right.
And the only reason
Uh-huh.
that we could get out within like the first 48 hours of that storm was because, well, my dad was in construction and so was my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he came over because companies were literally calling construction companies for
Uh-huh.
snow removal. Like we were beyond like, dude has a, like, you know how a lot of like any
Yeah.
snowstorm, there's random dude who either has a snowplow for his truck or has a lawnmower with snowplow and they go do all the, there was no hope of that. There was none.
Right.
They were calling construction companies with heavy equipment to come do snow removal.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally he had gotten called out.
Mm-hmm.
We have no clue how he made it. But he got in, got the heavy equipment, and like knocked out a few jobs. And then he came swinging past the house and like dug us out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was, it was so bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone was frozen, everyone was cold. It was a nightmare. I think we lost power eventually.
Yeah.
Like I can't
We
even
lost
remember how we
power.
stayed warm.
Yeah, we always lost power. Like up until every blizzard, we lost power except this one. So far, we've been holding on very well at 35-mile winds. You know, you got to understand your grid and how to modulate your grid, which AEP apparently just done our duct tape last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be good.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, year before last, because they moved all our power system when they damaged my property.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! For cooking and heating at my grandma's hangout spot, we had two 110-pound or 210-gallon tanks that would last about 3 weeks to a month, depending on if I could get her to wear socks or not.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the things that become important, you know.
You're right.
Like 2 to 3, it would last 3 weeks to a month. Like we're at 1 whole week because of socks.
Yeah.
Like that's a moment. And I understand that one.
Yep. That's an important moment. But, you know, and please, if you're going out, A, be safe. B, remember brakes are not your friend. Let the car do the work. You don't need to put up your pedal to the metal. The car has an engine that'll drive you very well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, also remember to bang on your car before you start it. There are kitties and doggies that are taking shelter, and if you have left your pet outside, how dare you? You're a worthless piece of human flesh.
Yes. But unfortunately, we do have pets that are not pets. They're
okay. We blew something. All right, guys. Joe will be back in a second because we blew a breaker. That happens because we're pushing maximum. But yes, please. There you go. Welcome back.
There we go. Welcome back. I think welcome back to you too. No, we didn't kick a breaker.
Yes, we did.
What?
Yeah, we just kicked the center breaker. I don't know what Mikey did, but he figured out what kicks the center breaker.
Oh, great. Awesome. Don't do that again.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, we kicked a breaker. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. So I thought we were just having some internet glitches. We had that earlier today.
Right.
And it was just the cold weather and severe wind.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was it.
Yes. If you're trying to keep air in, cover the front doors, and I'm a weird person because I haven't seen this in any other house. Mm-hmm. Our doors have curtain rods.
I hadn't seen that one either.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with the rolled up blanket or the rolled up towel,
Yep.
like, you know, or the rice thing or the sand thing. Like, I've seen those, the little breeze keepers.
Right.
I like that one I got, but
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, why do you have a curtain rod? And I mean, it's useful, it's helpful, I get it, I'm there. But at the same time, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
The cold got to me and I froze.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. I do, like, normally, y'all who know me know I live in my t-shirts and my shorts. I'm in layers. I feel like my grandmother.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm sitting here, like, you know, doing the hands over an open flame to keep them nice and warm. And I'm just like, all I need right now is like a 3 grate gas heater that I light this clothing on fire trying to get warm in front of. And I
Well,
will
we have
be
a
my
2
grandmother.
grade, but please don't do that.
I'm just saying. Like, that's what my grandmother used to do all the time. She, like, would back right up. She would, like, here's the thing, and this is to tell you, 1, how long she stayed in front of it, and 2, how hot that thing would get.
Mm-hmm.
I did not process until my grandmother that clothing holds moisture. Like, it can be perfectly dry, but it has moisture still. She would stand in front of that thing so long she would have steam coming out of her clothing.
Right.
I like that can't be good.
Yeah.
Like, like, it used to be a real moment to, like, watch that and be like, Memo, you gotta move. You gotta move. You gotta move. Like, I don't want to do any air trip. You gotta move from the heater.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're going to think I'm crazy, but next year next year I'm making winter curtains, window blankets.
Oh, window blankies.
Yes, as soon as because I'm not buying the crappy blankets at Goodwill. I mean, the crappy blankets that I find at Walmart. I'm going to Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying some old blankies, or I'm going to the Army repair store buying old blankies, and then I'm going to put beautiful curtain fabric on them, and we're going to make window blankies for next year. Because I have a sewing machine now, I can do that. And I'm also going to beef up the curtains on the doors. I've done that for years. My grandmother used to do it, and it keeps more heat in. You would be surprised how much is going through there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the blackout curtains are really helpful.
Right.
They really are.
Yeah, they are. Blackout curtains are lovely. I like them, but they do
a lot.
I like we can't find the old rubberback curtains. Like, I haven't been able to find them in thrift stores for years.
You know, and my first thought on that is, oh, thank God they finally stopped making those damn things.
Yeah, but our house is designed for those damn things and are designed to put storm windows in, but I'm not sure where Dad put the storm windows at.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But no, I remember Mom used to have the backed, like, rubber backed curtains.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Like, I love them. They will hold the heat out. They will hold the cold out. They really will. I get that part of them in the design. What I always hated was trying to wash the damn things.
Right.
Is because that's an entire nightmare.
You don't wash them.
Yeah, you do.
No, I'm sorry. I know the instructions. You take them and you put them happily in the laundromat and you have them steam cleaned, pressed, and ironed.
Oh, well, someone should have told me back in the 90s, because I washed the hell out of them.
Oh, no.
Once a year. Once a year, they went through the washing machine. My big thing was having to remember you were washing the curtains today.
Uh-huh.
And what would happen is they won't stick to each other.
Uh-huh.
But the backing will stick to itself. So, like, the minute that dryer gets done, you got to start pulling them out and pulling them apart.
Yep, that's why you have them steam cleaned and pressed.
Hey, it worked. I didn't destroy any of them. I just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it works. Like we had pretty curtains. Well, we didn't have pretty curtains, but we had pretty clean curtains. Like Mom went through a phase. They were like blaze orange.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So I'm not the only one that done it. That does.
Okay. Oh, Grandma had a curtain over doorways. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hung blankets in the winter to block off rooms, hung clothes up to dry, etc. Used them for quite a few things. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Emergency reflective blankets on the back side, quilt or blanket on the room side.
Mm-hmm. See, I would think do like a curtain fabric on the outside. That way your neighbors don't think you're wonky.
Right.
Like it looks like a curtain. It's a curtain. They have to pay
Mhm.
more attention to figure out it's not a fucking curtain.
Mhm.
And then do it on the reverse too. And then it's nice on the room side, nice on the outside. Your neighbors don't think you're weird.
Right. And you have a heavy army blanket that I will have to wear gloves to sew.
Yes.
Yes. But will be very much for keeping drafts and the air out, and also will sound dampen. That's the original reason for the curtains over the window, over the doors for me, was the sound dampen everything.
They think we're in the Addams family. They can think we wear tinfoil hats too. I don't give a fuck.
Uh-huh.
I love it, Shannon.
Yep.
No, like we try with our neighbors as best we can.
No, we have decent neighbors. They like us mostly.
Mostly, yeah.
Ooh, for the window blankets, yes. The other thing that I was really shocked that people did not know, and then I thought, hold it, that people have grown up in environments, because I have to remember I'm now a few decades old, where they have central air and heat.
Mm-hmm.
People, there were TikTokers that were making videos on how to drip your water.
Yes. This, I mean, for a lot of people, it's not a thing.
Right.
It's not a thing. And especially if you've grown up in apartment living, like, if you're from New York and like you live in a giant apartment complex and then you move, there's shit about living in your own independent dwelling that like you have to explain to people.
Right.
That like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to close this, you have to close that. Like, turn off that water spigot, like, cap it for the winter. Like, you got to do some things.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I showed my friends where they could use their terracotta pots, some bricks, and tea lights as a small heater when their power went out.
You know what? It probably doesn't heat that much, but it's a good little personal heater, Shannon. These oil warmers. I've been keeping oil warmers on my desk forever. Drop a tea light in there. It'll heat up that little area pretty well. Candles heat up that area pretty well. That's why your altar has so many on there. Promise you. Churches, that's why they burn candles. All these things are heat producers. And I know we went LED a couple years ago. I'm thinking that I may see if I can't find some old lights to go into some of the receptacles we don't use.
Oh, great. So we can be slightly warmer, and he's going to be sitting here screaming at the house to turn off the light.
No, I'm talking about like, the old porch light out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you stop and think about it, you really have to for a second. Like, an easy bake oven is nothing but a 100-watt bulb.
Right.
Like, that's it. That's the magical science of an easy bake oven.
Yes.
It's a bulb.
Right.
You really can do a lot with that. A lot of pump houses. Again, these are things you learn when you have independent rural dwellings.
Right.
A lot of pump houses usually have a high wattage bulb in them. That will be left on all winter long.
Right.
To keep that pump from freezing.
Yep.
Like, fun things you learn.
Yeah.
Like, because that was
losing.
Yeah, well, that was a big problem for a boss of
Mhm.
mine. Her house was in a rural area. They had a well and a pump,
Mm-hmm.
and they had always relied on this 100-watt light bulb in the pump house
Right.
to keep everything warm and flowing. And the bulb blew.
Mm-hmm.
Right as like everything got flooded with LEDs,
Uh-huh.
and there are no 100-watt light bulbs anymore. And she's going, "What the hell do I do?"
Well, actually, there is. It's on my Amazon wish list, and it's designed for chicken coops.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how she had to eventually tackle it, was to just go to like a farm and feed store and be like, "What you got for me?"
Yep. Because
Like,
we are doing that with our water pipes also, and next year I've got to replace those 2 bulbs. Oh, thank you for some hot coffee. You're wonderful.
yay. Yay, invisible assistant, freezing himself to death
Right. Oh,
to supply our warm liquids.
yes.
Oh, yeah. And reminding people that you can take the dryer vent out of the wall, stuff towels in the hole, and dry clothes. The hot air can heat the house. Yes, that's the most important part, Brenda, is they even make boxes to filter out the lead. Please, please, please be careful.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very useful tool
Yes.
for keeping a house warm. You have to filter that lead.
Yep.
If you don't have a lint box, you need at least to do the 5-gallon bucket with water. The number of lint fires that occur
Mm-hmm.
are insane.
Yes.
And that's because that lint can get very, very hot, and it will act like a chimney ember fire.
Right.
Like, once lint starts burning, it just keeps burning.
Right. And you don't want to dry in the dryer with nothing in it. Always have wet clothes in your dryer. If you're rewashing your, and believe me, if you're using a dryer for a furnace, you will have dirty clothes. That's easy to take and wash.
Yep. If nothing else, you can always drop some towels into the washer and then dry the hell out of those and keep repeating. You'll have the cleanest towels, fluffiest towels ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got some actual news to talk about. So let's talk about that.
All right. Oh, what all do we got this week?
I don't know. You posted some stuff, and then I wanted to
I
talk
posted
about.
a thing. Oh,
All right. Let's talk about the thing. And then I will bring out, because I wanted to talk about the protest in Texas.
alrighty. And then, yeah, I've got the conversion therapist.
Go for that.
All right. Well, let me send you the Am I the Asshole for a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be looking that over. So a BetterHelp therapist allegedly told a gay man to become straight. He says the online therapist told him to change his sexuality to reunite with his family. So all right, this is coming to us from them. Lovely little website. So a gay man has alleged that a therapist he found through BetterHelp, an online mental health service platform, encouraged him to repress his sexuality. A Wednesday report from the Wall Street Journal detailed how 22-year-old Caleb Hill sought a therapist on the online platform after he was kicked out of his house by his conservative parents. He specifically requested an LGBTQ plus therapist, but he was matched with a Christian therapist, Jeffrey Lambert, who Hill says told him, "You sacrifice your family or you sacrifice being gay." I needed someone to tell me I was gay, and that was okay, Hill told the Wall Street Journal. I got the exact opposite. Lambert asked Hill if he had been intimate with a man yet, and when Hill answered that he hadn't, Hill says that Lambert said, "Good." He said, "If I did want to go back to my family, I should think hard about being physical with a man because it would be a lot harder after that," Hill said. Hill recalls that Lambert then told him that if he chose to go back to who I was and deny those feelings, he could get me where I needed to be. Worrying that Lambert would practice conversion therapy on him, Hill emailed him after the session saying he would no longer be able to see him. Quote, I finally opened the door of the prison I built up inside, and the thought of going back kills me. Hill wrote in the email, will kill me if I lock myself inside again. BetterHelp employs 29,900 therapists as independent, hourly paid contractors, according to Business Insider. Accordingly, a former clinical director said that therapists were, quote, treated like Uber drivers, end quote, per Business Insider. Both BetterHelp and Lambert declined to comment on Hill's specific case, but a spokesperson told Wall Street Journal that, quote, given the scale of the service, unfortunate and negative experiences are not completely unavoidable. This is true in all therapy settings, whether traditional or online.
Right. And here's the thing. I know that the news is targeting BetterHelp.
Yeah.
BetterHelp isn't the problem.
Oh, yeah.
It is this therapist that is the problem.
True.
Okay? Because BetterHelp is very much like the platforms I work on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I have clients that get matched with me, or they choose me, and they'll ask the question that I can't deal with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but you have the presence of mind to be like, I don't think I'm the right person for you.
Right.
Like, you know what? Like, I don't think I'm going to say anything in this call.
Right.
Or on this chat that is going to work for you.
Right.
And I am so sorry for that, but let's go ahead and end this here. And I'm actually going to make sure that we don't get connected again.
Right. And I've done that. I do that with people all the time. They will call me about things that I'm not allowed to speak about because of where I legally am, or services I don't offer. Here's an example. I don't offer love spells to target a person. That's not my department. You want to attract love, I can help you manifest that, but I don't do a love spell to get Johnny Walker to walk through your life. Not my deal. So this therapist should have been like any other practicing therapist and not practice conversion therapy, because he's not allowed to in the country.
No, I don't think there's anywhere that still protects that. I think we've completely abolished that.
Right.
Like, it is, well, I know we've removed that for teens. I don't know if we completely eradicated that for adults. Like, you can't be a child and get a therapist that tries to convert you.
Right.
And you can't go through conversion therapy against your will. I think, though, technically as an adult, you could. That's considered like a right of being an adult. You can choose conversion therapy.
Does they say where this person is?
Specifically, I don't think so. Let me see if I can find more on this story. Let's see, switching over to LGBTQ Nation. Oh, of Tennessee.
No state policy.
No state policy.
So there's no federal blocking of that. And, you know, that's what the Equality Act would do. States have banned conversion therapy for minors in 20 states, but currently not surprising. There's a states in the federal jurisdiction circuit preliminary injunction currently preventing enforcement of conversion ban therapy in in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. But there are many bans throughout the country preventing this type of therapy.
Well, and generally, so yeah, I know when I was a teen, my mom sent me to conversion therapy, didn't have the outcome she was expecting. That was Ohio.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely freakish the number of people who got sent to conversion therapy. Like,
Right.
and thankfully there is like the beginning of a generational divide.
Right.
That, you know, there's going to one day be a generation that's like, what's conversion therapy?
Right.
And we'll all breathe, take a deep breath, and be like, okay,
Okay.
well, that's a better outcome.
But so better health isn't the story here, in my opinion. My opinion is the story is, how's this person practicing conversion therapy on a platform that it should not be practicing on at all? And why is he failing as a therapist?
Well, I think this comes down to
Mhm.
like there is most likely very minimal requirements
Mm-hmm.
and background checks.
Right.
Like basically they're interested in, have you raped a patient
Right.
or been charged with any other sexual crime?
Mm-hmm.
Especially one that involves a minor.
Mm-hmm.
And are you at least presenting credentials of someone who has a degree?
Right.
Like, can we verify that someone with this name, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
has the degree?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that,
Okay.
I doubt they're digging deep.
Sidebar.
Yeah.
Part of Best American Psychics, Bob Orton. He investigates and vets his psychics better than Better Health does.
Then they vet their therapist. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Like, and I think that's why some of the comparisons to Uber have been made.
Right.
Like, Uber only cares, can you pass a general background check?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, are you a licensed motorist in the state in which you're operating?
Right.
They don't care if you're good at it. They
Mm-hmm.
don't, you know what I mean? Like, they don't give a shit.
Well, that's
Beyond
just
that,
scary. I will put it point blank. That is scary. I am not a therapist. I am nowhere near a therapist. Do you not want to be a therapist? Probably could be a therapist very easily. Do I do spiritual counseling? Yes. Am I a trained therapist? No. I have had more background checks than someone on Better Health.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
Yeah. Like, and probably more effort to talk to colleagues, to test your skills,
right?
To evaluate
skills.
your skills. Yeah. More than likely, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Frighteningly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the like general problem we have in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
With therapy services,
Right.
with any kind of therapy services.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very large shortage of qualified mental health providers.
Right.
And honestly, I think the only system suffering more is education and qualified teachers.
Right.
Like, I mean, the number of states that are ready to be, that have reduced the requirements down to, do you have a high school diploma?
Right. Well, and that, well,
in
the state of West Virginia, if you have, you can teach 2 years above your last completed degree. So I can teach up to high school in the state of West Virginia. I have to take a 8-hour test, and I can be certified as a teacher because I do have a doctorate. So I technically could teach college if I wanted to in this state.
That's if they even require you to do the testing or even care at this point.
Well, because I've done it before, I just have to do the test again.
Well, no, but my whole thing is a number of states, because of the difficulty of finding people who will go take the damn test and pass it,
right,
have just eliminated the requirement.
Right.
Like, do you have a high school diploma?
Right.
That's it. That's all they're asking anymore in
Right.
in a number of states.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It is
It's like,
very much
tell me we're warehousing children without telling me we're warehousing children.
right. No, he's getting warm. You go be quiet. Sorry, guys. Gizmo and Ollie are having issues, and I'm trying to prevent us from having barking dog.
Yes.
Yes.
He's doing very well, though.
He is doing very well. So it really scares me what is being put out there. It very scares me that a psychic that is not a therapist has more qualifications than what your better health people are. They are not the only one in this industry. Please check with your community if you need therapy. They have teleservices. And look specifically for social worker therapists. It has been my experience they are more qualified to deal with therapy. Yes, I do recommend a lot of my clients, that come to me, know they're looking for therapy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's another part of it. As a psychic, y'all actually get training.
Yeah.
And resources
Mm-hmm.
for people in crisis, because it is an unfortunate part of your job that some of the people that will call you are in severe crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And may or may not be suicidal, may or may
Right.
not be about to commit a violent act.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually is a skills training.
Yes, that we have
You
to
have
have.
to go through. Yeah. Blows my
Networks
mind.
require it.
Mm-hmm.
Our networks, at least every 6 months, especially as holiday season comes in, sends out an email. Here's the videos. Here's the techniques. Here's the skills. Go watch this. Those are platforms. They're not. They're just like Better Health. That's all they do. They're the Uber of psychic.
Yeah. But they're making seemingly more of an effort.
Yes.
I mean, because I would think, okay, so your psychic doesn't bother to read the email and go watch the resource videos.
Right.
Okay, that could have some issues.
Right.
But what happens when your therapist doesn't really bother?
Well, what gets me is Better Health should have sorted him to where he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did not. Now,
that's a match that should have never happened.
Right. Now on King, we specifically have badges if we deal with because it's a Pacific reading style, guys. If that makes any sense. It's a different energy. You have to filter different connections. The vibration is different, and you have to have training for it.
And you have to not be an asshole.
Right.
Because we've talked about before, like the problem that got brought up, I believe, in one of the network forums.
Right.
It was specifically one of the advisors and her husband, and the husband was trying to call into the network to get a reading.
Right.
And they were having the worst problem.
Right.
Trying to find advisors that were not just totally freaked out at their polyamorous situation.
Right.
And just hellfire brimstone.
Right.
And it's no one signed up for that.
Yeah. No one's looking for that.
What?
Yeah.
So
why Better Health matched with this person, and I think, and it is the contractor's problem. The contractor should not have accepted this client. The contractor should not have selected that he was working for LGBT issues. The contractor should be terminated.
Well, or moreover, should have immediately identified in that session that I'm not the right therapist for you.
Right.
Professionally speaking, ethically speaking, we're on two different sides of this coin.
Right.
I can't help you. You don't want my help.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. It's not a hard thing. And I know it's got to suck.
Right.
As a contractor with one of these services.
Right.
To have to look at someone and go, I'm not getting paid today.
Yeah.
Because I can't help you.
Right.
Sorry, I have to reject you as a client.
Right. But that's the ethical thing to do. That is the responsible thing to do. The responsible thing is say, I don't deal with these issues. Let me recommend someone who does. Here's an example. I don't deal with demonology.
Yeah.
Not my department.
Yeah. Calling him about your demons.
Yeah, not my department.
Yeah.
Now, if alcoholism's your problem, if you want to figure out what's causing the alcoholism, we can get into that.
Yeah.
I don't deal with demonology. I have a great resource that I can flip, and it tells me who deals with that.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
you can be like, have a great day.
Here, I'll just go through the resource and see here.
Mm-hmm.
Denise Mercado, she is certified as demonology. Here's her extension. Go for it.
Yep. We'll be way better at handling this than I possibly could. Thank you. Have a great day.
And you have a great day.
Yeah.
And
That's
by the way, I'm calling customer service and you'll be refunded on this. But that's the rest of that process. I do not understand why this therapist did this. Someone that has gone to school, I don't know, how long does it take to become a therapist?
Well, here's the question, though, is because this is a Christian therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if what there is a problem with is that their training didn't properly involve how to, remove yourself from a client care.
Right.
Because you don't need any part of this.
Right.
Because that is sometimes a question in terms of faith-based education.
Yeah.
Is to whether or not that faith-based education actually, properly instructs students.
Right.
We could get into a huge debate over whether, this form of education versus that form of education is better. But I think that some of the faith-based schools, not all of them, certainly not all of them, but some of them are very Christian mission critical.
Mm-hmm.
As in, no matter what the situation is, they're not going to deselect themselves. They're just going to keep pushing.
Right.
No matter how much worse it makes it.
Right.
And I have severe problems with that.
Right. So it's a master degree level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Either in psychology or sociology. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. They should know how to fire somebody.
Should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should.
Again, I hope this person gets proper help. I hope they get proper resources, but this is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Like on many fronts. And I absolutely hate this for Caleb Hill, the patient in this situation.
Right.
No one should have to go through that. One, being thrown out of your house by your conservative parents still should not be a thing in 2022 that fucking happens to begin with.
Right.
Nor should turning to mental health to help you deal with that turn into proselytization and try and convince you that you're straight.
Right.
Like the layers of fail. And I'm sorry, I don't feel like BetterHelp really took this seriously.
Right.
Like this, like I give Caleb Hill so much fucking credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go on a limb and say he had to have had a support system of friends that were amazing.
Right.
And teachers and someone was a support system from hell that had at least already gotten him to a point that he had the self-confidence to be like, nope.
Well, I'm just wondering if BetterHelp has issued a statement.
Oh, one would hope.
Let's check their Twitter.
Yeah, this is blowing up in the LGBTQ news sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like Advocate has an article. So yeah.
Now, BetterHelp does not look like they've issued a statement on this at all. Now they're pushing themselves. You know, I give you credit, BetterHelp, that you're doing well with your twittering.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's not affordable. From what I hear, it's about $50 a session, and that is by text or chat.
Yeah, apparently BetterHelp does not accept insurance, instead providing patients with once weekly counseling sessions and messaging per month for between $240 to $360.
Yep.
It's apparently been wildly profitable, as BetterHelp said it has about $1 billion in annual revenue.
Yeah.
Though they do go on to say, if we do get information that a therapist conducts conversion therapy or similar practices, they would be removed from the platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly, Brenda. That's where I'm at. That counselor, like I'm putting it on screen, that counselor could have broken someone that was in a fragile situation or state.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely. You could have destroyed this person.
Right.
Like, and I don't think there's enough attention on this.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, everyone makes it out like conversion therapy is no big deal. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
No. The shit that goes on in conversion therapy, the idea that you're literally breaking someone's sexual attraction.
Right.
Like, the shit you have to do to someone to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That's not something you just, like, oh, it was no big deal. Like, no one says that about conversion therapy. No one has ever said, oh, it was no big deal. It was just conversion therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, people have trauma and scars and need decades of therapy.
Yes.
To deal with that.
Yes, if they survive it. And I do mean
if they survive
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's why I get so upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, no, I don't know who got him to the point, or if that was his own ability. Caleb Hill, I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If that was just his own ability to make a decision when he knew what he was facing.
Right.
Either any which way it goes, like, that was amazing.
Right.
Like, you made amazing choices and you dealt with that far better than so many people.
And this person is still practicing.
For better health?
Not for better health, but he is still there.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It's not cute little chats.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently it only has a 3.0 on doctor's ratings.
Oh. Yeah. It is worth considering. Like health grades and doc ratings, and like there's a number of sites that do medical health professional reviews.
Yes.
I don't mean base your entire decision on it.
Right.
But at least read through, get an idea. Like, can you, like, everyone's got shit.
Right.
Like, there are very few providers out there that aren't shitty in certain situations.
Right.
If that situation applies to you, that's your, like, nope, I need to avoid that one. If the situation doesn't apply to you, at least keep it in your back pocket that, like, hi, I know this about you. I think I see what's going on here.
Right.
Like, I've set off your spidey sense somewhere.
Right.
And this might be what's happening. But no,
But no, he's on a few online, and I do mean online, therapy providing sites. He's a therapist out of Florida.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of now interested.
Well, I'm interested because I want to see if he's still on BetterHelp.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that can be hard to figure out because it's not like their directory is a great big giant open directory.
Well, it isn't, but there's a way.
Oh.
Because that's not their parent site. Minddiagnosis.org is their advertising site.
Oh.
See, that's the thing, is when you figure out how to work things, you can go through and care-.com.
Well, and it looks like we need to be careful though. There are quite a few Jeffrey Lamberts.
Yes.
But
no. Apparently there's a few. Or there's one with multiple listings.
True. Well, if Mind Diagnostics is it, like, he just popped for their website.
Yep.
So,
So he's popping a few websites. This is what's called a feed. The main company is BetterHelp. Everyone knows the brand BetterHelp. Mind Diagnostics, Care Dashboard.
He is not on BetterHelp.
Okay.
I actually searched for him,
and
it found his page on BetterHelp, and it currently leads to a 404. We're sorry, but we can't find the page you were looking for.
Right.
Good. So either they've taken him down temporarily because of the backlash, or he has been removed.
Good. He needs to be removed. All right, so we're going to cover this topic, because I've been wanting to talk about this. I don't think we've talked about the protest in Texas.
Okay.
I sent you an article in private.
All right. So armed protesters.
Yes.
Yeah, armed protesters meet outside drag show in Texas. Oh God. Dozens of competing protesters, some allegedly armed, demonstrated outside a drag show in Texas. Let's see, it says last night, and last night was
the 14th.
So December 13th.
Right.
All right. So yeah. Against and in support of a Christmas-themed drag show, the groups met outside the Aztec Theater in downtown San Antonio, where a performance of the traveling show, A Drag Queen Christmas, hosted by Nina West, was taking place.
Right.
So the good news is no arrests or acts of violence were reported.
And that's the good news. What I found more impressive, and this was just a little me thing, finding more impressive is, so they heard that it was going to be weaponized. Oh, wrong one. There we go. We'll go ahead and throw that one up there, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen ACT UP or Pink Army in a while show up toting and ready to shoot or ready to cause problems.
Oh, Pink Pistols?
Yeah, Pink Pistols showed up.
Oh, hell. Well, of course, it's Texas. Everyone's armed.
Exactly.
So sorry, these are beliefs we have about Texas. Okay, we just
Yeah.
assume it. It's got to be worse than West Virginia somehow.
Right.
So yeah, but one of the groups was Texas Freedom Force.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. This is Texas Freedom Force, TITFF. All right, that's an acronym. Was previously described by the FBI as a militia extremist group in court filings, a
Mm-hmm.
claim the group denies. One of its members, Guy Wesley Reffitt, is awaiting trial for his role in the January 6th Capitol insurrection in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Now, TITF, what? TITFF, you tell me what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
Said their objection was not about the LGBTQ plus community, but that the drag show could be attended by children.
Mm-hmm.
What? What?
Right.
Okay, so yeah, quote, since we are dealing with people's rights, we're not going against LGBTQ, Raymond Garza, the group's vice president, told local CBS affiliate KENS, quote, we are saying that we do not like that these shows are not age restricted, and that's a primary reason we are here. What?
Yeah.
What?
$88 was the ticket, and that was for the back row seats, not the front row.
Yeah, I don't know many people buying their 5-year-old an $88 ticket to anything other than Taylor Swift.
Right.
I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
But all right, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
God. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Where the catwalk, of course, this, they're international, they'll be in Halifax, but the Christmas show, the ticket that night, the cheapest ticket you can get was $88 to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's door fee to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No one's going to take a 5-year-old to that. First of all. Second of all, that probably would not have been allowed to happen in general by the clubs. This, the shows are very different than Drag Story Hour. When a drag queen shows up to be Snow White and read Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or be Cinderella and read Cinderella.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? I still don't get it. What the hell is it everyone has against fucking drag queens?
Well, because they're the easy target. They're the public target. They're the easy, quick target. So,
in like 1967? Like, damn.
Okay.
Like, leave some drag queens alone. They've seen some shit, okay?
So, here's the thing. I've come up with a solution.
Yeah.
Why do libraries have drag queens coming in for Drag Time Story Hour? Well, easy. Because libraries can't get people to come read for children.
And they're fun. Drag queens are fun.
Yeah.
Can we not just accept drag queens are fucking fun?
Exactly. So if you are against Drag Queen Story Hour and you're listening to this show, here's what you do. Instead of spending 3 hours outside being faced by the army of Pink Pistol, yelling at you louder, doing a better protest than you ever thought of, because, hello, we're fucking professionals.
And it's choreographed.
March your little self down to the library and sign the fuck up. 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you want to do. Sign yourself up. You don't want room for your library to have Drag Queen Story Hour? Great. Become the library professional volunteer.
Yes. Become the super volunteer.
Exactly.
Yeah, but, like, that's the whole thing. There is a need. for like support of our libraries.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a massive issue that
Yes.
libraries are facing. And drag queens are like, hey,
Let's do this.
This sounds great. I can do this. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and no, drag queens do not show up and get inappropriate with
Right.
children.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met a drag queen that would be that dumb. Like, now they play a character. Like, keep this in mind. All drag queens are playing a character.
Yes.
Okay. And they know this.
Mm-hmm.
They get this. They also know their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a half decent drag queen knows her audience.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she wouldn't be a drag queen.
Exactly.
Because no one's going to give her a stage if she bombs.
Yeah.
Like, if she can't read a room.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to read a room of 5-year-olds and go, maybe I shouldn't use the words, dick sucking in my drag show.
Well, it's not even a drag show. They literally show up as a character. Snow White, Cinderella, Mrs. Potts, whatever, Belle, read a story in character, pass out some books, pass out some candy that's been donated by the community. Maybe, one of the house husbands had time to bake cookies and pick up some organic milk and lactose-free milk and, all different types of milk. Pass that out, make sure your children have a good time, and then go the hell home because they got to get ready to actually go to work.
Yeah, like there's a real job.
Yeah.
Like there's heels to buy and sequins to afford.
Exactly.
Because none of that shit's cheap.
Exactly.
Just point that out. None of that shit's cheap.
Right. But this is the thing. It is the same protest that when families started adopting children out of foster care. And not going, I want the blonde-haired baby. No, they're going, I want the 16-year-old that came from a beat-up home. I'll take that one. I'll take there's one dad in Florida. He literally said, he's adopted like 9 children now. Him and his partner have. And he said, no, I want all the HIV ones, all the drug-addicted ones. I want no child that's a normal.
The kids you could not put with a free car and get straight couples to walk out with.
Exactly.
Like, and I mean that. Like, that is a serious problem.
Right.
In adoption, is there are kids that you could send them with a fucking winning lottery ticket.
Right.
Parents aren't going to take them.
Right.
It's not who they want. They want a baby. And they want a healthy baby.
Yes.
And like one, that's just traumatic for children. But 2, it's like that is like if you're sitting here wondering about like white privilege, straight privilege, cishet privilege, that's a hell of a privilege.
Yeah.
To be able to show up at an adoption agency like it's a used car lot.
Right.
And just walk out and be like, no, we'll look again somewhere else. And, sorry, these aren't used cars.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, these are children. They need a family. They need a home.
But they want to protest it. They want to pass laws about it, but they don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Our lifestyle doesn't adapt to children well. Our old lifestyle. Our current lifestyle doesn't adapt to children well. Or we would have 2 or 3 of them by now.
Yes.
We have dogs for that. Why? Because we rescue dogs that need to sit down and be good boys.
And they're probably more work than any child we could adopt.
I don't know. This little 3-year-old, I'm telling you, he's been being so good today. He's talked to the kitties nicely. He's had hugging conversations with them. Now his sister, the cat, isn't having nice conversations.
She doesn't do nice.
Right. But, you know,
But
these are my problems with protesters. Fine, you don't want drag queens in your library. Great. So when are you going to go read Snow White?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shannon's people keep asking me to be a foster mom, but I'm not home enough, so I feel that.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Brenda says, with my imagination and daydreaming, I would have loved watching the drag queen story characters reading to me. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and this is a fundamental part of learning to read and becoming a proficient reader is one, having adults read to you helps you learn to read.
Right.
Two, it also generates interest when adults are in character, when they do the voices. Like, it generates interest in reading. It teaches you how to read in a mental stage capacity.
Right.
So it's not just words on a page that tell a story.
Right.
It's words on a page that play a whole movie in your head, and you can do whatever you want to with it.
Right.
It's a highly creative activity at that point.
Right. And with our reading level in the U.S. only being 79% of adults are able to read in 2022, 54 adults read at a below 6th grade level. Instead of protesting, do some work. Stop making us raise your children. Stop making us proficientize for your children. If you don't want us to do things for them, step the fuck up and do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Like, hi. My college experience, can I just point on?
Yes.
My college experience would have been a lot different if I didn't spend like a good solid 2 years teaching straight white boys how to do laundry and a few girls. What the hell? Like, I got it. I get it. Yeah. Like, I get it. It's a Southern mama thing. You make them dependent upon you. They have to come see you at some point because they're out of clean underwear. I get that.
Right.
But these are literal voting, working adults that cannot figure out how to use a washing machine.
Yeah.
Basic life skills and ability to be an independent human. Hi, could you send them to, like, finish raising them?
You're right.
Like, don't make it the gay boys, like, chore to, like, raise your child to be able to separate clothes.
Well, let's take it a little bit damn farther.
Yeah.
Every fucking comedian out there has done the talk conversation, the birds and the bee conversation.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I had to provide that because you fail as parents to do that, I would be a very rich man. Matter of fact, I could make probably Elon Musk cry at my expense account.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, I've gone through that one so many damn times when I was with the UNCG Pride. Like,
yeah.
And the questions, like, I don't mean I get mad because they're dumb questions. I get mad because someone somewhere should have already handled this.
Yes.
And that I'm now dealing with a 22-year-old that, you know, has, you know, knowledge from friends about, you know, any sexual activity, like, you name it, I've heard it. You know, like, and basic shit.
Right.
Like, you know, no, you can't use Vaseline with condoms.
Yeah.
Please
Shampoo
don't do
is not
that.
lube.
Yeah.
If you're an adult having sex ever, you should be tested for STDs every 6 months to a year, depending on the level of activity that you've had.
Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot of that is because we base a lot of sexual health education around pregnancy and avoiding it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what the conversation most of these kids get is avoiding pregnancy.
All right, let's take a break.
All right.
And we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dottie the Psychic, and I'm sure you're wondering why I'm not wearing any makeup. Well, one reason is to irritate my social media manager, Aeson Knight. Hi, Aeson. The other reason is because I like to get to the naked truth about what it means to be a neurodivergent LGBT person with psychic abilities. I've got vlogs, blogs, and podcasts and videos all related to trying to live my best life and helping witches and bitches do the same thing. So, you can check all that out and get a reading from Dottie the Psychic at DOTTIEthepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
Do you have a cute pet? We know you do. Each week, Tracy Van chooses from submitted photos a featured reader for her Facebook page and provides a tarot reading. Your adorable pet cat, dog, rabbit, goat, chicken, snake, or more could be her next featured reader. Visit tracyvan.com, TracyVann.com, and click Featured Reader to submit. We look forward to seeing your pet next.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and I am here to tell you how to get in contact with me and a little bit about what I do. I am the High Priestess that works with shadow work to help you grow and heal. And I work with access bars, Reiki, I do power forms. I'm recently getting into crystal healing, sound therapy as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, that is LadyGwendolynHealing.com. Book your appointment with me. I do in person, I do over the phone, I do over Zoom. We can do that as well. My main goal is to help you grow and heal, because I've been there, I'm still going through it, and I let my strength help guide you. See you soon.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
All right.
All right. So anyhow, let's find out if Joe's an asshole, shall we?
Am I the asshole? All right. Am I the asshole for saying I'll cancel Christmas dinner if people come without food? I, female 33, have bought a new house this year. I've been very fortunate and have landed a good job after university, which allowed me to buy my first house in my 30s, but I digress. In my culture, we start celebrating on Christmas Eve with a huge dinner, which traditionally has 12 different dishes. Many people do less, but my family has always done a minimum of 12. I have a fairly large family, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and younger cousins under 18. I have 3 siblings. Each of them have their own kids. I don't have any. Christmas is a big affair in my family, and it typically has 30 plus people during dinner. We've managed with smaller places, but since my house is fairly large with a nice dining area, my family asked if I could host this year. I said yes, but under one condition. Everyone brings one dish from the list. That way, one person won't slave away. Christmas prep can be days in advance, as some dishes like bigos get better with time, and we share the costs as it can really add up for one person, and then we can share leftovers. They all agreed to it, and I gave them all a list in August. I've been getting calls from my family since yesterday. Everyone has an excuse on why they won't be able to bring a meal. Excuses range from, I'm busy with work, I have kids, I don't have time to cook with them on Christmas break, or my dog ate my cookbook. The last one is a joke, but some of their excuses are equally as funny. With almost everyone bailing, I'm quite annoyed. So the 23rd, and I'd have to do all the cooking myself, meaning that I'd have to go and do shopping now, 5 p.m., with shops being packed, spend hundreds, if not thousands, and then cook and bake all night and likely not have everything ready. I've written down my to-do list and wanted to cry. It was too much. I called my family and got the majority of them on conference call. I told them that I won't be doing all the cooking, and they had 3 options. They all cook like we agreed. I make a big batch of homemade pizza, and we'll have Christmas pizza, which was met with cries of, "You can't do that to kids." I cancel the dinner. They come over, and I don't open my door, pretending I'm not home while eating my pizza, watching something in bed. They're fuming, saying that I ruined Christmas, and I'm heartless. They're going off in our group chat, calling me an asshole. It got so bad that I muted them. I've never seen them this bad, which makes me worried I'm the real asshole here. Am I the asshole for threatening that I'll cancel Christmas dinner?
No.
No. Oh my God, no.
No.
And I can understand it. Here's the thing. We never got to 30. I don't think, around the dinner table in my immediate family.
Okay.
I don't think we ever got that high. But just with the basics of, bring a dish or bring sodas or bring plates and napkins or bring whatever. Even with that, the amount of work that goes into that, and then you plan for at least 1 or 2 people are going to have a thing.
Right.
They're not going to have time to cook. They're not going to have time to get stuff done. Something's going to fail. So you try to have some extras. Right. That alone was borderline enough to break someone.
Right.
I can't imagine sitting there trying to do it all after you've already pre-planned as far back as August. You had time. Right. You had time.
Yeah.
To get your shit together. I think your family intentionally decided to make you the Christmas scapegoat.
Right.
And they were going to dump all this on you. They agreed without intention to keep up that agreement.
Right.
You are so not the asshole, and I think you should have a wonderful day in bed, watching something while eating pizza.
Right. This is my opinion, because I've been on all spectrums. The largest Christmas dinner we did was 43, and I think a few of those were infants. So there's that.
Yeah.
However, it has taken me a very long time to get out of that 22-dish meal.
Yeah. It's taken a lot of browbeating from me, too.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
Right.
I'm sorry, I can't have you go non-functional for a week because you are exhausted.
Yeah.
Understandably exhausted. I can't be mad at you for being exhausted other than the part where it's it was dinner for 5.
Right. But I can remember Christmas dinners with the following, and this was the menu for every Christmas dinner. You have a turkey, you have a ham, you have a meatloaf, you have a lasagna, you have mashed potatoes, you have scalloped potatoes, you have green beans, corn, peas, carrots glazed and roasted. You have at least 2 salads, possibly 3. You have at least 12 pies. You have cookies, candies, and fudge. I should have began cooking 2 weeks ago for Christmas dinner. It took me a very long time, and it's even this year, this year I was going to do a very simple. I'm still doing very simple, except we are doing a real ham. For those who are wondering, yes, hams have gone drastically cheaper. I think I got a 15-pound ham for $10.70.
Yeah, I'm still saying that that's probably your Christmas miracle. I think someone mistyped a pricing bar. But hey, I'll take it.
We used to budget $500 for Christmas dinner. I now budget $50. Next year I'm doing $25.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm like, and having done multiple years of it, because I did at least 7 years while I was taking care of my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I appreciate my siblings so much, you just don't even know.
Yes.
Because I did not ever have to cook a ham or a turkey.
Mm-hmm.
That was my one big thing, is I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will prep space. I will, make this all work. I will do some dishes. I will cook a bunch of sides. I will even throw in a dessert somewhere. Mm-hmm. I will gather and organize and do all of those things.
Right.
And I usually knocked myself out. And it was a long, like, 3-day period.
Right.
With the pre and the post.
Right.
But no, I'm in the same boat with OP. It's like, this isn't doable. No one should ever do this. Like, you can't do this without meth.
Right.
Okay? You can't do this without drugs of some amphetamine stimulant variety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not feasible to just, like...
Right.
You can't do it. You need a team.
Right.
One way or the other.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I can't afford to hire one.
Right.
Like, point blank, I can't afford to hire a team.
Well, again, I don't have my team anymore. And there was 5 of us cooks, and all 5 of us was cooking at that level. A 12-course meal, 3 of them isn't hard. However, then, you have to have the kitchen and the equipment, and she's just moved into a home. I will nicely say, fuck you.
Yeah.
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 You are not the asshole, however, your family is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on into the poly advice relationship category, and this one will be interesting.
All right, nothing about my life is any of my meta's business. All right, so nothing about my life is any of my meta's business. I was just reading a thread about reading your partner's text without meta's consent is never okay. I completely agree with this. What happens between my husband and his partner is none of my business, and I have no interest in hearing anything about her. We don't have a don't ask, don't tell policy. In fact, we've all just taken an overseas vacation together at my suggestion. My issue is that my husband keeps sharing information with his partner about me. Some fairly mundane things, such as a conversation I had with my boss about a potential promotion, other things which I find to be an invasion of my privacy. He told her that I had recently restarted anti-anxiety medication, despite me telling him on a number of occasions that nothing about my life is any of her business. I've specifically told him that anything I tell him in person, by phone, email, or text is between the two of us. He thinks there is no harm in sharing what he doesn't consider to be private information. Am I overreacting? If not, how should I approach raising this subject yet again?
I think you're overreacting. What do you think?
Here's the thing. While I agree that she's overreacting, I think it's also her right to overreact.
Okay.
In so much that she's like she's in one relationship and he is in two
or more.
or more. But the relationship between them comes with certain perks, privileges, etc. And I think she has a right to ask that please don't share any of my shit.
Well, I get
I'm
that.
not in a relationship with her. She's not my bestie.
Right.
You know, I have the right to privacy, even if it's not super like sensitive information. It's my fucking information. Would you share my social? Would you share my credit card number? Would you like what? Where's your limit?
Well,
You know what I mean?
the example here is, throwing a fit over a possible promotion. I'm sorry. If you were going for, all his metas knows what he does. They know his job. They know what's going on averagely in his job. That's standard human conversation.
Well, and that's where I'm kind of at. Is I think it is standard conversation. Like I'm not really mad at the husband.
No.
But I think that's because I'm sitting here going, well, it's kind of benign information. Like, okay, the anti-anxiety med probably was pushing it.
I don't think that's even pushing it, especially if there is a common ground. And there is a common ground here. They both have even gone on vacation together. There's common ground. Why do you need to be home next weekend? Well, she started her anti-anxiety medication. I want to be here in case there's some complications.
Yeah. And I think, though, that's where I kind of can get wishy-washy on this, is I think she has a right to have her privacy respected, and she can set her boundaries on that.
Right.
And be like, no, I don't want you to tell her anything.
Right.
I think that means this is going to be a lot uglier of a poly situation for her husband.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's her information and her health care and her career and her whatever that he's talking about. And you have to recognize that.
Right.
I think she has a right to ask for that. I don't necessarily know that that's going to be something that's going to be like, I think it's just going to be a continuous bone of contention.
Right.
And it may be up to her husband to decide whether or not he can live with that.
Right. Well, not only that, but I think it makes a real obstacle to all relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was kind of my point, is it's going to be very hard to have a conversation about, like you said, why do I need to stay home next week? Well.
Yeah. Why is Monday not a good night for game night? Well.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah. That creates chaos. I think her problem, however, is not this.
Okay.
I think her problem is more so that there is someone else her husband is sharing information with. And that information may be, we're not talking first date here. We're not talking fifth date here. We're talking the level of taking a vacation. So therefore, the meta can be talking to primary already and should be already.
Yeah. Unless they don't want to. And again, that's a choice that they can make.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily go well for functional poly.
No.
Like, you kind of have to.
Right.
Again, I think all of this, on one hand, is her right.
Right.
But I think as she's doing that, she's opting out of poly, or she's making poly very difficult.
Well, I think that they're making poly very difficult.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think, I really struggle with this one to say it, but I don't know that she's overreacting, because she set a boundary. He broke it.
Right.
I think it was a legit boundary.
Right.
Even if I think the boundary is bullshit. I think a boundary can be legitimate and bullshit at the same time.
Right.
I think they have a poly problem.
Right.
that she either has to open up a little bit and allow for some sharing,
Right.
or this isn't going to work.
Well, I don't
Or
think it's going to work.
The meta's going to
Also-
have to get real comfortable with, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right. And that's not going to breed healthy for his other relationship.
No.
Yeah.
And that would be a nightmare of eggshells to walk on, trying to navigate the other relationship.
Right.
Without being able to tell your spouse anything.
Right.
Like, or discuss it really, because you can't even like contextualize it.
Right.
Like, why can't you be there for, my mom's birthday?
Right.
I can't tell you.
Right.
Like, because that sounds like the level that OP's at, is that if she's going in for surgery,
right,
he can't share that.
Right.
And so he's going to be stuck in a position of why can't you go to my mom's birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you.
Right.
That's not going to work.
Right.
If I were that meta,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, hi, my sister, because my mom's already passed, but like my sister is having a great big birthday party.
Right.
I want you to come with me.
Right.
And all you can tell me is you can't go, and you can't tell me why.
Right.
I mean, it's not that I wouldn't trust you to have made that decision and made it meaningfully.
Right.
But I'm going to have some issues with that.
Right.
Of like, well, why the hell not?
Exactly.
Like, let me evaluate whether you're, I don't know. I mean, I guess theoretically I should trust you to make a sound decision.
Right.
But I guess I also want to hear the reasoning.
Right.
At least enough to know, like, oh, okay, your meta has surgery. Oh my God, do I need to do anything to help? Would be my first reaction.
Right.
But even with that, it's like, even if that weren't on the table, that's not what the meta wants. Like, we're not that kind of people. I'm still gonna okay, I can understand that. I can make amends with that. I can be okay with that. That's a legit reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good damn reason not to go to my sister's birthday party with me.
Right.
And that's an understandable one. That's a reasonable.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, and let's put this into our life, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would totally blow up our calendars, Brenda.
Yeah. It would definitely blow up our calendars. But let's put this into our life in a situation we went on.
Okay.
When you had neck surgery, at that time you had 4 metas.
Yeah.
Okay. All the metas knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
All the meta, because here's what happens in that situation. And what happened in that situation. One meta wasn't close, so he was acting as informational support because he's in the medical field. Another meta was, 2 other metas were close. Both of them was acting as home-based support for the house.
Mm-hmm.
And
keep everything running, everyone happy, everyone fed, everyone whatever.
Do they need to go to the store? Whatever.
Yeah. Like, basically
dinner over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one was ready to run what I call interference, i.e., he's going to be up here a week. I need my this, that, and another.
Okay, be right there. I'll drop it off. Whatever you need.
You have invisible packet. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I'll be up there in a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Polly interacts.
Yeah.
That's how natural Polly interacts. What she's asking for here is, what she's doing is basically trying to blank out half the hinge's life to the other, and that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you do have to acknowledge at least that, things going on in your life do affect your other, your relationship and your, significant other's relationship with others. And that goes beyond just a meta. That can be a boss thing. Are you going to be mad if your husband calls out of work?
Yeah.
to be with you for that surgery and has to tell his boss,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can't be there that day because
Right.
my spouse is having surgery.
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
Like, I think you limit it to, like, the most you really should want to consider limiting to is, like,
Right.
would you tell your boss this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you might not tell your boss about your, you know, significant others, like, starting anti-anxiety meds.
Right.
But you would definitely tell your boss about, like, your spouse is having surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Your spouse is having an important work engagement that you have to be at.
Well,
Like a promotion party.
I debate that.
Okay.
Okay.
I was saying, like, this would be, like, the farthest you could go to minimal information sharing.
Right. I debate that for this reason. The
Okay.
anti-anxiety medicine and you needing to be close. Because obviously, you quit the anti-anxiety medicine for a reason. You just don't go off of them for no reason.
Right. And go back on and, yeah.
And go back on.
Well, yeah. I mean, how comfortable would you feel if it was just a share of, like, my wife is having a serious medical situation?
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly an emergency.
Right.
Like, I could see telling your
Mhm.
boss that. Like, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Right.
But, like, my wife has, you know, a medical thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to be available and supportive for that.
Right.
I would think that would be the minimal you could reasonably say.
Right.
Without it being like, you know, a boss looking at you like you just want to take the day off to go jerk off. I mean, like,
right.
What are you looking for here?
Right.
Like, it's not your medical,
Mm-hmm.
it's someone else's thing.
Right.
What is their thing?
Right.
Like, otherwise you're asking your spouse to lie.
Right.
And say it's their thing or their, like, they've got to come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's asking too much.
Right. I think that it's, again, I think that she is setting it up, and she already commented that she's in couples therapy here. I think she's trying to set it up to fail the other relationship.
Yeah, that's kind of seeming how it is. Either that or they are way sensitive about personal information. Although, then again, I think that's a barometer in every relationship. I think this is an extreme example.
Right.
I think every relationship has, like, a dynamic point in which that's not information you share about me.
Right.
That's not something I think anyone else needs to know about me.
Right.
I don't think it's appropriate for you to talk about that with others.
Right.
Like, you know, what was your reason?
Right.
Why would you share that?
Right. But there comes commonality sharing that occurs. The number of times I've had the same conversation with multiple partners.
Yeah.
This is why we have a group chat, to save me typing time.
Very much so.
Yeah. The number of times you've had the conversation, same conversation with my partners. This is why we have a group chat.
Yes.
It saves us typing time. This is why we have Google Calendar, because it's easy to see I can't take off to Europe for 2 weeks. Don't even bring it up.
For any reason.
For any reason.
Yeah, no, like, it can't. It just can't.
Yeah.
At least not right now and for the immediate foreseeable future. Like, 2023, he will not be taking off for Europe. We can guarantee it.
Yep. Okay. Those are things that commonly has. This is also, for those forming new poly, make your metas talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Children sharing toys have to communicate with each other. No, I'm playing that game on Tuesday. You can, don't save this spot. I'm saving this spot.
Yeah. Well, and you have to be open to that. This definitely sounds like someone who did not play well with others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because there is a certain level of vulnerability you have to have. I think in any relationship, not only with your partner, but with like literally everyone in their life to a degree.
Right.
I mean, it's a very fluctuating thing. Like, I don't expect you to tell your meta some things. There's even more things I don't expect you to tell your boss.
Right.
You know, there's some things I'll allow because someone's your best friend.
Right.
You know, and you do have to try to trust your partner's judgment and who they tell what.
Right.
You know, and also your partner has to recognize that, like, sometimes that shit gets back to them.
Right.
Like, you know, trust the wrong friend.
Right.
Like, that shit's gonna come flying back.
Right. But, you know, that should be within your, how can I put this? That should be within your partner's primary. The level of don't say anything about me that is coming through in this request for advice, you're setting your relationship up to fail.
Oh, yeah.
And you're losing the support of your meta. Because I'm sorry, he uses his metas against me.
What?
They form a colony and go after it. And we've talked about that on the show.
What?
Spider
Never. I would
Eclipse.
never. Do what?
Spider Eclipse.
Oh, see, yeah. Like, we all know. It's like, no, no. Right. Like, it was just a line of no's he got on that one. It was like, no.
Well, you know, or, you know, I think, no. Joe's already, and this has occurred. This has occurred. I think I'm going to go do X with Joe. My fucking messenger blows up. What the fuck do you think you're doing? I'm working. What is your problem? Joe just told us what you're doing. Log the fuck off and go to bed. I will be over later with chicken soup.
Yes.
I'm coming to shut off your computer and taking your cell phone.
I will take him down if I have to. If I have to take him down, I'll take him down. Like, and I don't, like, I will and I am one of those bitches. Like, if you won't listen to reason, there's always to Wanda. I will involve every motherfucker I have to shut you down. Because if you won't listen to me, I'm not going to keep screaming. I don't do that. I don't have the time, the patience, the energy, whatever. I'll kill you. Like, that's where that'll end up. If I have to keep screaming about it, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
It's easier. Like, I can do the time. I can't.
I'm specifically talking about when I lost my voice, and I'm like, I can do Chad. It's no big deal. I'll just keep working. Yeah. No. I had Papa Bear. I had Virginia Cub. I had the Invisible Assistant, and I had Joe all on my ass.
And we were right.
And he even caused an argument.
Yes.
I'm bringing noodle soup. Is it in a can? No. Then that is not soup.
Yes, like, we had to have a whole conversation about that.
Yes.
But that's a whole different story.
No, that's the same story. It all occurs for the same because of the same sharing of information.
I'm just saying, it's like a 10-mile expedition to go down that road to explain your problems with chicken noodle soup. Because that exactly, even Brenda's like, hi, good job. Yeah, no, like, I don't yell and scream.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like, I have in the past. But here's my thing. I don't do angry well. It really takes a toll on my body. That's the real reality. It's not that I don't have the time or the energy or whatever. I don't do rage. It screws my body up so bad, and it only gets worse the older I get.
Right.
And so I'm done with it. Like, I will tell you, and then if you won't listen, I will bring a legion.
Yes.
Like, I'll just bring a fucking legion.
Right.
And they will tear you down. Brick by brick. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's go see if you're an asshole this week.
Boy, you just loved making that transition.
I did.
You gotta have them start voting no on all of them just because they know the transition's coming where it's gonna be like, you're an asshole.
All right. So not this week though. You are not the asshole for canceling Christmas dinner. And some of the comments, and you've got to go in here and whitelist some people. You got to show me how to do that.
Okay.
We're really sorry if your comments haven't been shown up.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get some people whitelisted.
Yes.
We're so sorry.
Yes. The only way you would be an asshole is if you refused to feed somebody that didn't have it. Popped up. And just more comments about how unreasonable this is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think OP, even if it had been like one or two people, she would have been like, okay. You know, because I expect that anytime. We're renaming Joe to Hellboy. He will bring a legion. Oh, good.
I will remember that and pull it out of my arsenal, JB.
Easy, Hellboy. Do what I said the first time, and you won't need a legion.
Do what I said the first time, and I won't involve the rest of them. It was just
exactly. That's my theory.
Yeah.
Do what now?
And my comment to all of them was, I can do chat. It's okay. No. Go to bed.
Yeah. Let me explain what he meant by I can do chat. Yeah, he was barely upright. I'm fine. You're not fine.
Yeah. But, that was what, 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like, I don't do this arbitrarily. It's not like he forgets to take out the trash or some bullshit and I bring a legion.
No, because half of them will show up and fucking take the trash out, clean the house, and look and go, do you have something else to complain about?
This is true. But I'm just saying, I don't do this arbitrarily.
Yes.
Like, I think that's part of it you also have to explain is I don't do these things arbitrarily. It's not like he forgot to clean the ashtray. I need a legion.
Right.
No, I am not that crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I can be like, don't get me wrong. I can be some hell form of crazy. But I don't do this to squash a fly.
Right.
Like I meet the crazy. Like your crazy's here. I'm gonna meet you here. Like.
Yeah.
There's a reason I love Florence and the Machine, Seven Devils.
True. All right, guys. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. There is not a show tomorrow night. There will be a show on Sunday, Christmas Eve. We're going to be setting up the Master Psychic Planner that is going to be hitting Joe's desk here in a little bit.
Oh, boy.
So he has a day to correct some design changes that I want made. And we'll have fun with that. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. We're sorry we're a little late. We hope you stay warm, comfortable, run that water, take care of people, call your elderly, call your spouses, make sure they're all nice and toasty. Do not leave your pets out, or I promise you, the Morrigan will get you. If you have to go out, remember, cars have to be heated up, and bang on the hood before you even start the car. Because we have wild animals looking for warmth and shelter, and your car is a great one for that because we have stupid humans. Okay? So with that, Joe, take it away. Or Hellboy, take it away.
Hellboy, take it away. All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, and Caitlin Bell. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yep. And Merry Christmas. Also, if you are in that sprint for something for the holidays, Aesonite.com, there are gift certificates available.
Yes.
Yes.
Check
you
it
can
out.
print right there at home.
Or buy yourself something pretty.
Or buy yourself something pretty. Yeah, you can get yourself a gift certificate now and stretch it out for use it for later. Mm-hmm. So with that, good night, y'all.
Good night.